Oh, wait a minute. Oh, there we go. There we go. I hope the sound's a little better. Somebody can type in whether or not you can hear me good. Well, there ain't nobody in here. But anyway, just a quick update. Just do this on live instead of messing with the editing software and everything. Just kind of an update. The last video, they said the sound was horrible, and I didn't know it until after I had already posted it. So hopefully this is a little better. Update on the boat. What's going on with it? I mentioned in the other video, I don't know if you could hear me, but I mentioned in the other video that I was working on the boat. It'd be a little bit before we got you another good fishing video, but little update on it. Can y'all hear me? I see there's 3 people in here. Can somebody type, can you hear me? Sounds good. All right, good. Thanks, Mike. I've been working on this boat. The guide trips, I've pretty well shut them down here after Labor Day, and I had a few issues with the boat that needed addressed. And it was one of them things, you dig in to fix one thing and you find 3. So then you try to fix those 3 and you find another one and another one. So I just decided to just tear the boat apart and redo it. If you watched Jason Kaiser on Strike 3, the video he posted yesterday, you'll see me, I pop in it for just a minute there. I ran over there when he was filming, and we were in Dad's new Pro Cat. And we've been fishing out of that. I haven't been able to get video. One reason, we just mainly doing the break-in on it. And the one time we actually really fished out of it, I had my nephew with me, and he's 8 years old. And I didn't know how my sister would feel about it if I had him on the video. So I just didn't video when he's with me. I just won't do it. But get back on topic here. So this boat, I bought it 7 years ago. It had a wooden floor in it. And over the last 7 years, it's taken its toll on the wood. You know, wood doesn't last very long. So it decided to check that floor out, rip it up, and you need to do a backup. Yeah, I know. But decided to go ahead and rip that floor out. Well, I ripped the floor out, I noticed the console was not attached to the boat at all. It was just sitting in there. The only thing holding the console in on the boat was the floor wedged against it, and the drain hose and the fill hose for the live well and the steering cable. That was the only thing holding the console in the boat. It was just sitting in there. So, of course, I said, you know, we've been fishing that day as Pro Cat, and I like the way it's set up. So I said, to hell with it, I'm just going to set mine up the same way. So I started tearing into it, and then also bought float pods for it. And Brandon Spalding's going to put on my float pods. And I got one talon. Let me switch this camera around. There we go. I got one talon. I hope y'all still hear me good. I got one talon here. I've always had the one here the last couple of years. But when I put the float pods on, I got to move the talon back on its own bracket. So Brandon's going to put my talons on, make my brackets for both sides, and I'm going to get another talon. Now, I started ripping into this boat, and we found a few cracks and whatnot. But the console used to sit right there. And so I moved the console all the way to the front of the boat. I used to have it set up like a bass boat. And it was great for crappie fishing. But for catfishing, if you had more than just me and somebody else, it was kind of pain in the butt. If you're on a guide trip with me, you know what I'm talking about. We get to where we're fishing, and we'd have to move around the boat so I could get the back of the boat set up. That way they could fish. And we're moving around, stepping over stuff and everything. And the boat fished good with 2 people in the back, sitting back here in the back, fishing with rods out the rod rack and whatnot. But there just wasn't, everything else was just clustered, and we were always moving around. This way, I'm going to have 2 seats about where that's set. We're kind of laid this side a little bit here tonight. And but that'll be a seat there, and there'll be another seat on this side. And then I'll have the 2 seats in the back. And then eventually, probably next summer, I'm going to cut the center of this back seat out here, and I'm going to put a 60-gallon live well back here. And that's the main reason to put the pods on. The pods add 200 pounds of flotation. And even with a 60-gallon live well, a lot of times you're only going to have about 45 gallons of water in it anyway. So it won't be completely full. But that'll help with floating the boat a little better with water if I put that live well back here. But But we got the console moved today. It was a nightmare getting the steering assembly out. I don't know if you haven't had to buy a steering cable lately, they're outrageous. But that's the boat. But they've went outrageous. Just for a 15-foot cable is about $180 just for the cable itself. So, and I got to looking, and I can buy a whole steering assembly, brand new steering assembly with the cable and everything for like $150 off Amazon. So I figured rather than just buying a cable and having a 20-year-old steering assembly, I'm just going to buy a whole new steering assembly with a cable, and it's easy to put on. You know, they're not hard to change out at all. So, and then it's all new. And luckily, when they did this, before I bought the boat, he had new controls put on it and new control cables and everything. And luckily, the electronic side of, starter, key start and everything, they put a 20-foot of wire on it, of lead. So I've got enough wire. Here's what I'm talking about right here on the steering assembly. Here's the steering assembly. Here's all the electrical right here for it. And these two here are your shifting cables for forward and reverse right here. Now, I do have to get new shifting cables, but they're only $74, so that's cheap. But at least they put enough of the electrical side of it, the key switch wiring and everything, and kill switch, that I don't have to buy that too. So that'll help out with some of that expense in doing that, so I don't have to buy all that. But it's a little expense, but hey, it's going to be the way I want it, and it'll fish a lot better for guide trips. As far as crappie fishing, a lot of times it's just me and maybe one other person, and there'll still be plenty of room up here in the front, because a lot of times we stand right here, because right there's a live scope screen. So we usually stand right up here about where the post is in there anyway. And then I do have the side kicks if we want to sit down. I do have the side kicks if we want to sit down. You can still put one here, on each side of the boat, and there's still enough room to do that. So, but no, I'm getting ready to do a little welding. I'm not a big aluminum welder. That's why I'm having Brandon. He's going to come do my pods, and you can see over there on the other side, over there, that hole. That's where the live well used to drain, and I got to put it up there beside the console. So we'll have to fill that. He'll have to fill that hole in for me, and then that aluminum bracket there. That's what the control mounts on. You can see over there where I've already got it ground down to aluminum. That way it's ready to weld. It needs spot welded back on up there. It was all the way back over there by where that drill's sitting. So, but we'll get her all done, and I still got to remove the tank, and I want to clean it up back here. It's a mess. I mean, the whole underside of the boat, I bet we took 100 pounds of mud out. Almost every one of the drain channels down there was clogged with mud. I mean, it was in a wood. Let me show you the wood here. This is the wood on the old floor. They cut a good job. I mean, it was accurate, but you can see how it's all split. It split. It was holding waterlogged, and it's starting to rot. You can see there how it's rotting. It's just nasty. And of course, the boat had carpet in it. Ever since I've had it, the boat's had carpet in it. And carpet, of course, it comes undone and gets loose and whatnot. And I got that hydro turf, that sea-deck hydro turf, that foam turf to put on it instead of carpet. And I'm going to have the floor and the deck and the back deck and whatnot will have hydro turf on it instead of carpet. And it was nice. Dad's new Pro Cat had it in it, so I just went ahead and bought it. I'm going to put it in my boat. So it'd be nice when it's done, but that's just a little update. We're getting a little closer tomorrow. I'm going picking the shifter cables up and the flooring material, put the new aluminum floor in it. And we'll get that in, get the console in, and then it's just a matter of waiting for Brandon to be able to get over here and get these pods welded on and fill a couple holes in and a couple cracks that need some attention. And then after that, it'll take me a couple days to to do the wiring on the boat, because the wiring was a pipe fitter's nightmare too. When I bought the boat, it already had some stuff in here, and I didn't bother to tear it out. As I added stuff, I just added wire, and I bet I took out, I mean, switch this around again. That trash can is plumb full of wire and crap out of the boat. So I bet I took out 100 foot of wire. It was pieced together, you know, to go 10 feet. It might have had 3 pieces of wire that they connected with the wire connectors. It was pretty rough shape. It's a good thing when I did put the graphs and stuff on, I ran all new power wire and stuff for the graphs, so they were at least on good wire. But the belch pump and the live well pump and there's a couple of the running lights, had about 30 pieces of wire in them for those 3 items to get 10 feet to the console from each one from those 3. It was a night. It's a wonder they worked, or I didn't have a wire fire, one or the other. But so I just decided to rip all the wire out except for what I put in, and then start over on the stuff that looked like it was a rat's nest. So it'll be nice when it's done. But that's a quick update, a little longer than I meant for it to be, but 11 minutes. But that's what's going on. So my fishing will be with other people probably. I know Dad and I are going to do some fishing this weekend in the new boat, or in the afternoons anyway. He's duck hunting in Illinois, or goose hunting in Illinois. The early season opens Saturday, I guess. So he's been doing that. And in the evenings, he's talking about maybe this week going in the afternoons. And then the 23rd, we'll be fishing in the Ethan Chapman's having a tournament. Get a hold of him if you haven't already and interested in fishing. It's a daytime tournament in September 23rd. I think it's at a Route U ramp. They are going to allow trailering, but you can't leave the lot until they sound the horn in the morning, and then you can trailer to whatever ramp you want to go to and just be back in time to weigh in. We'll be fishing in that one for sure, and there's a couple other ones, and then we're going to fish Sea Ark Invitational for sure in April down in Alabama, and some other tournaments I'm sure coming up. But that's what I got going on. That's the update. I'll try to keep you updated. Hopefully I can get a video out. I got a couple friends that I can hook up with and go with them and maybe get a video with them. So, but anyway, that's the update. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you later.